I came out of that kind of stuff. Like that went on in my household as a kid. But I saw the wrong part of it. I got lost somewhere. Like I told myself, like, as long as I don't see the hitting, the punching, the police not coming, the yelling, that's domestic violence, right? But the truth was, I was still hurting people. I was still a part of that stuff, whether I was married to him or not. I wasn't being honest. But my name's Will Person. Most people know me. I've been a public figure for a long time. So I started with Team USA. I was a track and field athlete over to Winter Olympics as a bobsled athlete for about almost 10 years or so. The U.S. national champion, top 10 world rank. That was kind of at my peak. And also do a lot of writing. I started doing, my first movie I did was called Jerry Maguire. I did that in '96, doing stunts. That's how I started in the industry. But to make a long story short, all of my friends were athletes, actors, models, like Prince Albert, people like that. I traveled the world with people like him. And people don't know, after 9/11, we traveled with Secret Service. We had a really small, exclusive group of people. But a lot of people were just unfaithful to their partners. That's that's the basic level of domestic violence. Whether that woman knows about it or not, or that man who's being cheated on doesn't know about it, that's still domestic violence. That's still, you're hurting somebody. I always had these internal talks with God. And I always thought he was disappointed in me. So I talked to him all the time. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it. But, I'm hearing you. Until one day I had an epiphany just to, knock it off. And for me, it was almost like a death sentence, because there was no support system for this. There was nobody to say, for every person that I told I wanted to change, there was 3 people trying to convince me not to change. It took me probably about 10 years to kind of forgive myself. So I started my cleanse in probably about 2005. And it took me till 2011 when I started to journal about it a little bit, just kind of clear my heart. It was still heavy on me, even though I had changed and I didn't have those behaviors anymore, but it was still sitting heavy on me. So when I got to LA, and I eventually found this group, it was called Cheaters Victim Support Group. Eventually, the person who started the group quit. He abandoned the group and I took it over. And so that was about 4 years ago. And now I'm probably at about 10,000 members, about to tip 10,000. My journey took me there to kind of give back and help support other people who was having those struggles. I wound up writing a book about it. And that book is called Imposter Journey to Monogamy. Matter of fact, let me show you the cover here. The track meet, I went away, I came back, and their mother had cleaned out my apartment, took all my stuff, took my daughter, and was gone to this darkness. It was just at that point, I remember crying just for days. I would still go train. I didn't eat, just training and stuff. And it was a hard time for me. And I think that's kind of what kind of set me over the dark, that loyalty. I would never cheat on my kid's mother. The thought of me cheating on, anytime a woman approached me, I would see my daughter's face. So there's no way in the world I would ever cheat on my ex, not out of loyalty to her, but out of to my kids.
So that it took something within inside you. You had to have a basis of integrity for that to even take hold in the first place.
Yeah.
So good for you on that, because I know there are some that are. Let's just take abusers, for example. It's going to be on their deathbed before they, really give it over and really seek forgiveness. And some where it'll never happen. Now, when you were, the youth that you were working with, what was the age range?
14, well, sometimes 12 to 18.
12 to 18.
18 is the cutoff, yeah.
Okay. So a 12 to 18-year-old who's stuck in the house right now, how would that stress normally manifest within that age range?
Oh my God, there's so many different ways. But the truth is, you just got to look for most people know their kids, and when your kid's doing something a little bit that's out of the norm, they just got to sit them down and talk to them. And like for me, like I worked in the most violent atmosphere sometimes. When it comes to youth corrections, like there was kids like, I'll give you my extreme case. I had a kid who, if people want to commit suicide, they'll cut their wrist, right? Well, I had a kid who would really he would chew through his wrist, pull his vein out, and squirt blood at you. Like that's one of the extreme ones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've worked in the most violent ones, but when it comes to like, when you work in a place like that and you thrive in it, it's because people usually respect you. And so, and people respect me. Those kids know they respect me because I really look out what's best for them. I'm probably the most toughest on them. Like usually they call me Sarge or something like that because I'm pretty tough on them. But they know I play more than any of them kids. I wake them up with jokes and put them to bed with jokes. But at the same time, like it's you got to give them a little bit of hope and belief in themselves. Like I had kids who actually be ready to leave youth corrections, and like a month before time for them to go up in front of the parole board, they mess up on purpose just so they couldn't go, And so I would put them on watch 30 days out. Like I watched the system. It's a pattern. It's just like with people, with cheaters, it's a pattern. And I watched them 30 days out. It's the same thing. They know they're about to get out and be set free and go live with a family or their own family. And they're like, no, I live in this building and I got my friends with me. I'm not being abused. I got meals. Why would I want to go?
Right.
So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, they get used to a loving and respectful and supportive environment, which, I mean, you can't blame them. They've never had that before. So why would they want to leave?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I talk about it sparingly. I try not to overwhelm a lot of people with it because they're dealing with so much
already. Yeah.
And a lot of people they don't talk about it. I'm the only one who addresses that issue. Like I'm not stupid. I already know when people are doing those things in homes, there's a lot of other things that come with it. Most of those spouses are being hit, they're being kicked, they're being spit on, they're being mentally abused, verbally abused, and it's just, that's what it is. The thing that scares me the most is I think we're going to probably have a lot of suicides for kids right now, teenagers.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
I really haven't been paying a lot of attention, but my gut tells me that's what's gonna happen. Because when kids lose hope, it'll probably be 16 to about 20, right in that range. It's going to be a pocket of them. Don't ask me why, but I just know it's going to happen. But yeah. And those ones we got to get to.
Yes, absolutely. When adults run out of hope, I mean, they have enough experience in life to, I wouldn't say put themselves out, but they've been through trials, that they have, at one point or another, they've had a friend or family member that they could go to. Whereas when you're a teenager, your frontal lobe isn't completely developed, and you're already in that space where everything is about you, and you've either totally messed up and nobody's listening and nobody hears me and this and that. And so once they run out of hope from the outside and they're going through all this stuff on the inside, and you're stuck at home, you have no resources, your family is, everybody's bickering and scared and nobody has any hope either, and parents don't know how to explain what it is that's going on. It's like you're flying around in outer space with no anchor, no sound, no nothing. I expect domestic violence rates to be, and ratios to be, a lot higher during the time of isolation, because nobody can escape, nobody knows what's going on, nobody, you put all of that, it's like putting all of that in a pressure cooker. There are other ways to cheat. You can cheat online, you can cheat on your phone, you can absolutely, there's porn sites, there's all sorts of ways to cheat. So it's right there in your face. My concern is if someone catches their significant other cheating and they can't escape, they can't get out of the house, that things could explode within that house. So it
Yeah.
could potentially be very dangerous right now, both outside the home and inside the home.
But the scary part is right now, there's no space in the jails, you know. And if it's a mental health issue, there's no space in mental health issues, mental health buildings right now. So they gonna leave that person right at home. They got some stuff going on. Sometimes they go need to get evaluated, and right now they probably just won't get it. You abuse somebody for so long, they have no self-esteem. They don't feel good about themselves. That's one thing about a human being that I learned. You can try to control that woman all you want with all those things, but eventually, as soon as she finds just a smidgen of self-esteem and respect for herself, she's getting out of there.
Yep.
And you never know what it could be. It could be a song. She might have heard a song on the radio. And you done came home and all her stuff going, you know what I mean?
Yep, and all your stuff is on the lawn.
Right, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
It don't take much.
Yeah, it does. Like people who have been abused, most times they will not ever have justice. They will not ever have closure, and that stays with you. Although you get counseling and you pursue growth and healing and everything, but without actual closure or justice of some sort, that's a hole in you that you always kind of have, and you always have to manage. It's rough. It's really, 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 really rough. So
absolutely.
Good for you for having that within you to turn around, because that shows a lot of integrity. Really, the only support that you really have are other people who've gone through it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times family doesn't really want to hear it because it's just way too much for them to be able to handle. And
absolutely.
then you have friends who don't want to hear it because they have their own troubles that seem insurmountable that they're dealing with. The justice system, the quote unquote justice system, is not built for justice. It's built for men by men. And if you're going in there, if you're the abuser, you're going in there and all you have is the truth. If you don't have the experience, if you don't have money, if you don't have friends who are willing to lie for you, I guess, then you can forget it. If you're just going in with the truth, forget it. Being an abuse victim is for me, how I feel about that is I feel like my soul has been raped.
Yeah.
And you can go through, because I've been through counseling, I've been through group counseling, I've done individual counseling. I have amazing support and friends and everything. And in the beginning of it, I found God. And going through, getting closer to God and going through the healing process all at the same time, I noticed that counseling only works up until a point. Then it starts to make sense where people say God is the only way. For real. Like the only thing that is going to be able to repair me is now at this point is God. Yeah.
That's the one thing about a human being, man. It's that hope, man. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Like people always knock up things about Obama. He didn't do enough for the black people. He gave a lot of hope. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you uplift people, man, that's just like, I don't know, man. No, you can't put a price on that.
No, not at all. Hope will pull you out of the darkest, deepest drawer you could possibly be in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why staying connected right now and talking about issues, whatever the issues might be, whether they be heavy or light or whatever, this is the most important thing right now, is staying connected and I think helping other people and giving resources. If it's just like being a shoulder or calling somebody up or sending a text message, hey, how you doing? How's your morning or whatever? This is the most important thing, right? Just to know that somebody cares, just to know that you have some window out into the world and somebody cares can be the difference between someone doing something bad or scary.